Welcome to my 420 shit video. 18 plus restricted. Fuck YouTube. Fuck Facebook. YouTube and Facebook have really enjoyed busting my balls lately, restricting everything I post. You fuckers need to smoke a joint and calm the fuck down. Sincerely yours, Roger fucking Hook.
Greening out, the scientific phenomenon where an individual gets way too darn high and starts fighting his inner, most ominous demons. What if this never wears off? What if my boss calls me right now? What if I'm actually adopted and my real parents are freaking vampires, man? With the latter thought being seemingly completely ridiculous, but when you're greening out, none of that stuff matters. Everything bad that can, has, or could happen morph together into one massive, powerful ball of destruction and start knocking on your brain's CB1 receptors like, I know you're in there, bro. Your good old friend anxiety wants to have a very intense talk with you right now. And I haven't even gotten to the best part, which is that, well, there is no cure. All you can do is drink water, sit there, and try not to think about how this might never go away. This could be it, bro. The last push your brain needed to pop you into psychosis forever. You'll never be the same. Goodbye happiness, goodbye feelings. All there is this eternal slumber in limbo.
Bro, are you okay?
No, I think I smoked away my soul.
You just greening out, dumbass. You were like this last week, too. You really can't handle your stuff, can you, man?
Oh yeah. You might be right.
Of course I'm right. I'm a G! You smoked that bowl?
Yeah, I think it was laced.
Man, you think everything is laced.
Oh my. You shouldn't have done that, bro.
What, this?
Are you crazy? You did more than me. Are you okay?
I mean, I feel better than before.
Damn. That's kind of dark, but oddly comforting. Although there is no real cure to greening out, although CBD and weirdly black pepper can help, anyway, what you really need is some reassurance that no, in fact you did not smoke lace grass, and straight up, you're just being a bitch. The real issue comes when you start greening out alone, in your room with nothing but your thoughts, no one to comfort you, and no one to help you. Except me, a certified Zaza scientist who, with the power of scientific research and personal experimentation, will guide you through the reality of greening out by sharing personal stories and presenting you the facts. And I think the best way to do this is to go over every level / type of greening out, from minor anxiety to loss of self and total disassociation. But we'll get to my nightmarish I'm never smoking again experience soon. First, we gotta start out with the type of green out almost everyone who has blazed once or twice has gone through, which is the overstimulation green out. The most commonly occurring green out, especially in inexperienced and new users of the magic plant. If you've never had this, you've probably never been really faded. This is when you feel the THC activate your sympathetic nervous system, aka fight or flight mode, especially in new or anxious users. It's like your body thinks it's in danger when it's not. The symptoms include anxiety and an elevated heartbeat, but on top of that, depending on the person, they could also start sweating. Basically, I describe this green out as you feeling wired and energetic, so your thoughts are going at 100 miles per hour, but at the same time, you're scared and anxious, so everything you think about can rabbit hole into something unpleasant. On top of the usual symptoms I brought out, most people also have their own individual debuff as well. For me, that's the feeling of being extremely cold, even though I know I'm not actually freezing. My first experience of this particular green out was all the way back in high school when the grass was still mysterious and kind of scary. I had just transferred schools a few months back and I got a couple of new friends when eventually the topic of the za came up and how they wanted to try it, which, well, I agreed to talk to my plug back home and see what I can do. Which, well, we all know how unreliable plugs can be, and to be honest, unless you're friends with them, it's usually not a pleasant experience. Unlike today's sponsor are 5 CBD Quick Hit 15 milligram gummies, who not only get you where you're trying to go in 10 minutes compared to the usual 30, but also deliver fast nationwide, so no need to even leave your home. On top of that, 5 CBD is also running an insane $5,000 giveaway to everyone who enters before July 31st, with the winner getting to choose their preferred prize. Personally, I definitely go with the gamer's dream, which includes stuff like a PS5, a 65-inch TV, a mini fridge, a $1,000 Visa gift card, and much more. And the best part is, by using my code CBDBRO at checkout, you can get a whopping 35% off your order while still getting those 10 entries, giving you a solid chance of winning the $5,000 giveaway, although there are multiple other ways to get additional entries for free as well. Not only are you getting some fire and fast-acting gummies, you're also giving yourself a chance to strike big, bruh. To be eligible, all you have to do is be at least 21, live in the US, and go to the pinned comment to check it out. A few weeks went by and I was able to secure one singular holy gram of some fine exotic oregano pack. I then informed my buddies of my acquirement of the grass, which then at school we conjured up a devious plan to get absolutely zoinked in my dorm room. Problem was, I kind of maybe over-exaggerated my proficiency in smoking and rolling that wood, aka I had no idea how to roll a J, so I got one of my actual experienced friends to come along with us for the ride. After school, the 4 of us, me, my 2 inexperienced homies, and the 1 experienced homie, all gathered in my compact dorm room. As the professional was rolling up, I was starting to feel a bit anxious, cause the reality was, although I had smoked up before, it had always been at an ultra-secure compound, my grandma's house on Christmas, or back home with my brother when our parents weren't home. Now it was me, 2 friends who I had no idea how they were going to react, and only 1 experienced dude who I could count on to not geek the fuck out, but still, we weren't exactly best friends. Another issue was that we were not at all alone in that dormitory. We were on the 2nd floor, and on the 1st floor there lived the overseer, basically an old lady who worked there. And I was low-key starting to question the legitimacy and normality of pulling up with 3 homies, then 15 minutes later going out with the same friends all excited, and then coming back inside walking past the overseer with all 4 of us looking bedonked out of our goddamn minds.
Whatever, that's a future problem, man.
Yo, Jay is ready. We smoke a Doka Loken this or what? So we went downstairs, moved past the overseer to the exit, and walked to a nearby clump of pine trees to conceal our blazing of the ganja. As we stood there, puffing on that grass, I saw the experienced friend turn into a blabbering buffoon. Not in like a bad way. Well, it was bad in the moment. Problem was, with each puff of that oregano, I got more and more paranoid and scared of being caught and deported back home. So, although now looking back at it, he was just vibing off the za like you should, my OCD ass was just fixated on the fact that he was being too loud or talking about the grass in an incriminating way. I know I was the actual mood killer that night. Good news was, the 2 buddies who had never blazed before didn't even get high, probably didn't inhale it in their lungs, so for me that was one less problem to deal with. But after finishing the J, I stared at the homie who did feel it and...
Bruh, you look fried like a McDonald's nugget.
Shit, wasn't that the point?
Yeah, I guess so. Just what? I'm kinda worried of going back to the door. What the fuck? Are you okay? No. I'm tweaking, man.
My first ever green out experience had begun. I could not get the bad thoughts out of my mind, and I was super anxious and paranoid, and I guess my body reacts to that by turning the AC up to a max. We ended up walking around town instead. Eventually, another buddy picked us up with a car, and in the car, I obviously cranked the AC up to maximum warmth. After about 30 minutes, my first green out was over, and I got to enjoy the high, not at my dorm, but at a nearby party we were dropped off at. What I learned from it was that the za is best enjoyed with people you're comfortable with and in controlled situations. Well, I mean, now I don't care, I'll be smoking woods during hurricanes and shit, but it took me a while to get comfortable with the feeling of being high in non-secure locations. But that was the most common and honestly least scary green out, and although the cold thing is a personal symptom and most people don't have that, everything else was extremely common, like anxiety, panic, and overall just mental overload. Now let's look at the 2 other types of green outs I've experienced. events, with the last one being way more terrifying. But first, balance system overload. I've only ever had this once, but I know it's actually pretty common. It's when you smoke a bunch of za and start feeling dizzy, vertigo, and nausea. For me, it was when I mixed alcohol with the grass, which looking back at it, I mean duh. I was at a party, pretty drunk, when a rotation was put into place. Obviously being CBD bro and the prospect of free being as alluring as it is, I not only joined it, I led it. Basically, I smoked more than everybody else. After going back inside and sitting down, I felt the room started spinning. I felt I had zero balance, and on top of that, I wanted to vomit, but I never did, just constantly felt like something was coming up. But yeah, I just drank a bunch of water and sat on the couch like a spaceship. It faded in about 30 minutes, so not too bad. But this final green out is something I've only fully experienced once, and ever since then, I've been low-key scared to get uber high, and that is dissociative green out. This one is straight up terrifying, but like in a much different way than the first more common type of green out. Scientifically speaking, high doses of THC can temporarily disrupt the integration of sensory and cognitive inputs. It hits similar circuits as mild psychedelics, especially in sensitive brains, aka detachment from reality, identity confusion, feeling like the world isn't real, aka derealization, and the inability to recognize one's own thoughts or voice. In my case, it felt like me, the person, was separated from my brain and body. Everything I said out loud, I did not think about before. It felt as if I was not in control of what I was saying, like my body was on autopilot and I was just observing what was going on through my eyes. I felt like my conscious was separated from my subconscious. It was like there was two of me inside my one body. After saying something out loud, I thought,
Of course you would say that, that's totally you.
which was freaking terrifying because I am me. Why am I critiquing myself in third person like I was not in control? But beyond that, I just felt numb, empty, like there was no point to existence, which also means I didn't feel anxious or even scared. It was just like this one singular, heavy feeling of pure emptiness. I started scrolling shorts to try and feel something, anything, but to no avail. I wasn't laughing, I wasn't getting scared, all the content felt the same, just a screen with pixels. The only thing I could not stop thinking about was,
is this going to last forever?
Thankfully though, eventually, after about 20 or 30 minutes, I started feeling again. The first sign of this was when I came across this funny cat video and I chuckled. Which seems like such a mundane event, but I remember being so happy that I chuckled because I felt it. I felt what I saw was funny and my body reacted. After the first moment of recovery, it took another 10 or so minutes for what felt like my two personalities, or subconscious and conscious, to merge together again and create a singular me. One that liked playing video games, watching YouTube videos, etc. Overall, this was by far the most effed up green out I've ever had. Feeling anxious or panicking, although uncomfortable, is average human behavior, but this, the sense of emptiness, is something that you just don't ever feel normally. After that particular green out, I've honestly been low-key scared to get uber messed up, because the feeling is something I still remember, and whenever I feel myself get super faded, I think about it. But yeah, beyond being potentially scarred for life, greening out is just a part of the Zaza experience, and I'd love to hear about some of your stories with any of the types of green outs I talked about, or maybe you even have your own type that I didn't even mention. Let me know in the comments, and until next time, peace!